Hey, Jamie Dunn is an icon in the Australian entertainment industry. First of all, as a recording artist in his younger days, he went on to be a TV producer. Of course, the voice, the personality, the everything about a little puppet called AGRO, which one stage was on our telly all the time. Major radio personality. Jamie's been a mate for a long time, and we have a really good chat together. If you like what I'm doing with this little shows, please subscribe now. If you've got a good story to tell, email me, aussielocalandlive@gmail.com. And of course, if you really want to help out, put your camera on that QR code and it'll take you to a tip jar on my website where you can help with donating some stuff to help market this little thing we're doing here. But anyway, this is my chat with Jamie. Hope you enjoy it. I really had a good time doing it. And yeah, Mr. Jamie Dunn. All right, it's my pleasure today to be talking to one of the real legends around our industry, a guy who a lot of people will know for his having his hand up a puppet, a little bloke called AGRO, but he's a major TV producer. Mate, Mr. Jamie Dunn, how are you, mate?
Going good, Nick. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Haven't seen you for quite a while.
Oh, have a look at me. I'm old. I look
Yeah,
grey,
I know that
mate.
feeling. I know that feeling. Mate, a lot of people will, of course, know you from AGRO, and we'll talk about that in a while. But what people don't know is that you were Johnny Farnham's drummer
Yes, yeah, I was.
back in the very early days.
Back in the day, I think the opening song. Let me think, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the voice. Yeah, it's a Friday kind of Monday. What he used to open with. It's a Friday kind of Monday. That was me in the back.
Yeah. And then you drummed with Phil Emmanuel and Tommy, didn't you, with Gold Rush?
No. I did sit in with Phil a couple of times.
Okay.
But that's back in the day when he was doing. Oh, where did I do him? Oh, Wynnum Plaza, shopping centre car park.
All right.
Isn't it? I mean, that's Australian music, mate. You can be a cracking hot player with lots of talent.
Yeah.
But you need the Wynnum Plaza car park money to survive. You know?
Now, of course, mate, you used to manage me for some time, so I know some of the stuff that a lot of people don't know.
Well,
like
that's
for
how
your
I
facts.
learned to put my hand up a puppet, dude.
That's it, mate. That's it. You also were the drummer at Pip's nightclub when they'd have the strippers on, right?
Yeah. Well, you would know because, like I was a drummer early in the piece, but came through and I was backing different artists for when it was cabaret.
Yep.
And then you sit there and you think. I remember thinking at the Tattersalls Hotel, Richmond Street, Maryborough.
Okay.
I think it's some Maori guy, and he got like $500 or $600 to do 40 minutes, and I got $80 to be in the band, and I thought I might give a show a bit of a go.
Yeah.
So I tried doing a floor show with me, and the first one I did was at the Prince Alfred Hotel, Beauval.
Wow.
And I charged $60 because I was trying to get started in a floor show thing, and it didn't go very well. I went to get my money, and the guy said, "I'm not paying you. That was shit." And these are the things you deal with in bands and artists or whatever you're doing entertainment-wise. No matter what you're doing in Australian entertainment, coming up, you would have seen heaps of this.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, still do. Still do.
And that guy, that guy forgot it was me because years later he booked AGRO for a place called I was in Ipswich. He had a I forget the name of it, but anyway, he paid to have AGRO because AGRO used to do like an hour set at a nightclub.
Yep.
And it was 20 years later after he told me that that was shit and he's not paying the $60. I charged him $3,060.
I was going to say, man,
one thing downstairs. He was paying me downstairs. He got to the 3,000. He went 20, 40, 60, and I got in the van and I was driving back down Brisbane Street, and I'm going, Took me 20 years, but I got me $60.
Mate, Jamie Dunn has a good memory. I can assure everybody that
Yeah.
Jamie
Yeah.
has a good memory, mate. Of course, you went on from there, and you end up in Los Angeles recording your own songs, and had a massive hit with Jamie Comes Home, right?
Well, I wouldn't call it a massive hit.
It was a pretty big hit, mate.
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah, it did pretty well around Australia to start off
Yeah,
with. It was number one in Brisbane, but that was more popularity. You know, you could bump it up the charts by requesting it, and so you had
yeah,
family and friends and
yeah.
everyone, leaning on the radio station to play it. But it did pretty well for a starting thing. But
So,
that
how long did
was
you live in Los Angeles for?
on and off because of the visa situation. You could only live there for I think 6 months, come home,
Yeah,
and then go back in another 6 months. So I did that for several years.
right.
Um, I could never get a green card, but um, my the bloke that I knew over there, Daryl Cotton, he was the lead singer of Zoot back in
Yep,
the day, and there was lots of Australians in Los Angeles, like Brian Cadd, Rick Springfield, the whole stack of Russell Morris.
yeah.
They were all over there trying. So I was in. I was, ankle deep in that. I wasn't. I wouldn't say I was immersed in it, but I was on the peripheral.
Yeah, and remember you were working at the time too. Was it Michael Lloyd, the producer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's strange you should do that. This morning I got up and Michael, he put me on. He needed someone to put some carpet in his studio, and I was with Daryl, and Daryl was recording with Michael Lloyd. He was in a group called Cotton, Lloyd and Christian,
okay,
and
yeah,
I was just over there, staying at Daryl's place and uh, getting started in music. And I remember Michael Lloyd saying, "Can you put carpet down?" And I used to work with a bloke in Brisbane called Mick Power, who showed me how to carpet lay. I said, "I can put carpet down." So I put some carpet down in Michael Lloyd's little studio, and we just developed friendship, relationship, and eventually I recorded a song called "Fun, Fun, Fun."
yeah.
Ah, yeah.
I
But the
remember
beauty
that.
of that was Michael he said to me, and see, you can't get education like this, music
Mm,
education anyway. He said to me, um, I can get this released back in Australia for you through Warner Brothers. So you get on the line. I got on the extension, and Michael Lloyd said, "This is how we sell." And so I could hear him speaking to Warner Brothers back in
yeah,
Australia,
yeah.
and the Americans. The moment they do something, they just
They
full
make
on.
it
He was
happen.
going,
Yeah,
"We're very excited about this artist," and I'm thinking,
yeah,
"Oh, that's me." And he got it released out here. I had a single out here.
yeah,
Isn't that strange that I had a single on Warner Curb Records out of Los Angeles, released back in Australia? Very
yeah,
strange, but
yeah.
you know,
That's how the
you,
world
you,
worked, wasn't it?
well, it's like you, dude. Yes, I did manage you, but what I saw in you was exactly what I'd been through. You just
Yep,
gotta you chase down every little thing.
yep,
Like AGRO came about because um, Channel 7 said, can you do a puppet? And in our business, you say yes first and then
everything. Yeah,
work out how to do it later. Otherwise, you
exactly.
don't get next week's work.
Yep.
Whether it's um, in the corner of a restaurant, which I used to play in a place called the Court of the Seven Lamps down
Hmm.
down the valley. And I remember saying to the guy, he said, when should I use you? And I said, oh, better you use me on the down days, like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays,
Mm, mm.
because I already had Friday and Saturday,
Booked up.
so I
Yeah.
was trying to fill the book. You just become a little bit cunning, kind of, to try and make enough money to survive to get the right break. And who
So
was
mate,
to know?
when you came back from LA, you had the songs out, and then you worked for a
Yeah,
record company for a while, didn't you? You were a state manager of
yeah,
program
yeah.
or
I ended
something.
up. Oh, God help me! I ended up sales manager at Astro Records.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I remember you telling me a story too about looking after artists like losing Paul Simon around the city, or having to work with Dr. Hook when they were off their face, and It was interesting
Oh
times.
yeah, God, yeah. The guy with the patch in Doctor
Ray,
Who.
yeah.
Oh man. Sunday night after their show, he's going, I want a pie. You need to take me around, and like as if I was gonna take someone around Brisbane on a Sunday night looking for a pie. I said, oh, he got quite shitty, but I think I don't know whether I've been lucky or whether I do see myself like a lot of me and you in that, and a lot of you would be in like Keith Urban, like he used to do Thursday nights at the Normanby, and
Yep.
for what, $250 or $200, whatever they
Yep.
paid back in those days, and just kept doing it. And then now, of course, he got some traction, but
Mate, the big lesson from you too was, but everyone's in that situation where you got to deal with what you got to deal with. But you were really good at making something happen. Like you'd like kind of
yeah,
get an opportunity like
yeah,
AGRO, and you'd make that happen, or you'd get you because you were producing Saturday Morning Jukebox, Seven Rock. You became Mr. Channel 7 pretty much in Brisbane there for a long time.
yeah. Well, I was lucky. I pitched it to Channel 7, that we do. You hosted it. Yeah, you sat in host, and
Well, I first met you when I had a mate of mine. I'd done some singles and I'd wanted to shop them around. The guy, Fred Davies, helped me shop it around. And at that
it
time,
was
you
it.
were
No, it wasn't your band Music Junction or something like that.
music. That was a store, Music Junction. But I was just doing so. I had well, you had the Waves was our first band. But
Oh, was it? What was,
you had Craig Campbell as your host, and you and Craig were parting ways, and you were wanting a new host, and you auditioned me for a host, and you said I
yeah,
sucked, my voice sucked, I was terrible for a host, but you kind of got
yeah, but
interested in my.
you hadn't done any hosting on television, like
I didn't have that
you
at
know.
all. But that was when we started looking at the music, and I became like a regular on the Saturday
Yeah,
morning jukebox, and we got those singles with Festival, and
mm.
and we would record film clips when you'd put on triple plays before and after an ad break, and we'd use that time to record the film clip up there, and it was so much fun. It was so good.
Yeah,
We'd be driving back
amazing,
from
eh?
Lismore, and we'd
And
just come straight from Lismore to the TV station to do the show because the guys from the
well, see, that
corporation.
was it was an opportunity. Like those triple plays,
Yep,
believe it or not, was an opportunity, and you can get free video to try and flog your stuff. And it
absolutely.
was,
That was
yeah,
we
it was,
charted on Stereo 10 and we did all that stuff and it got me
yeah.
that got me a whole start of my career of being known around town, which sort of kept me working for a long
Well,
time.
it's such a Nick. It's such a cruel business. I had uh, Jamie Come Home had charted, and um, I had recorded a follow up with Michael Lloyd in Los Angeles called Mr. Rock and Roll.
Yep.
And I had sold that song to Cotton Lloyd and Christian for their album
Mm,
in Los Angeles. So I had a hit record here in Brisbane with Jamie Come Home. When it came to playing the follow up, which was Mr. Rock and Roll, 4IP chose Cotton Lloyd and Christian's Mr.
version.
Rock and Roll to play.
Yeah.
My career stopped, the door shut,
Yeah.
and a fridge fell on me, as happens in this business. You get a bit of a traction with a record, and you think,
Yep.
oh, here we go.
Yep.
Loyalty has nothing to do with it.
No.
Nothing to do with it.
No.
I'm all set to have Mr. Rock and Roll, my song. I gave away the publishing to Daryl and Michael Lloyd in America,
Oh,
and then they wouldn't play the Australian version, which was me.
yeah.
I died. I went. It's just like the curtain closed
Yeah.
on my career. Then it was
Well,
just
that was like when we had the singles out, what we were doing, and we sat with Festival because they said they'd do an album deal, and then I know they'd blown their budget on some other artist in America, and they cut the roster in half, and I was one that got cut off that, and that just you sort of you're fighting an uphill battle once you get cut off a roster.
it's such a cruel business.
It is.
But if you can survive it, you end up with a certain amount of business cunning. You know what I mean? You sort of. I always put it down that I have literally chased. If the phone rings, I chase it,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, a lot of people would go first. You might take a phone call. Can you do a puppet? Well, a lot of people would put the phone down and go, "Oh, I don't think I want to do a puppet. Why would I do, a puppet? It's why would I do that?" But I was the other way around. I'm going to puppet. I'll do it. I'll do it to the best I got. No problem. I'll write
And
a
mate,
song for it.
the other side of that is too your humour. I mean, I got to meet your dad at your wedding one time, and I saw where your humour really came from. And he was the only guy I knew who could cut you down with his humour.
Oh man, my father could run a razor blade down your arm verbally.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he would make you bleed
yeah,
by he would. Oh man,
yeah.
I
And
was in
mate,
his office one time.
your humour,
You go
you've
on.
used that in business, and your humour has also been a weapon sometimes for you, and you know how to do it. But what you did was create one of Australia's most iconic characters, and that humour is Jamie Dunn humour. You know.
Yeah, I guess so. But you see Agro on TV now, and I'm thinking, well, he really had it. I saw one. It was one of the outtakes. Those outtakes have had like 6 million hits.
I know. I was watching
It's a
some of them.
different business now.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
when could you ever hit 6 million people?
yeah,
But anyway, I was doing the Logies with Daryl Summers,
yeah.
and we were supposed to cross to Dinah Ross on the Gold Coast, and they'd come in at the rehearsal and said no one mentioned Dinah Ross. She said no, she won't do it. We're not crossing. All right. So in the break, I ordered a little pizza from Pizza Hut, a little tiny little one, and this is how confident I was. I took it on stage and I put it under the lectern. And anyway, when we did the show, they crossed to Daryl and he's going, look, we had something special lined up. And Agro goes, oh, excuse me, Daryl, excuse me, under the lectern there. And he goes, what? Because he didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
I hadn't told him, I hadn't cleared it with anyone on a national show. And he picks up this pizza thing and Agro goes, in there. And he opens it up and he said, Daryl's going, well, what's this all about? And Agro goes, well, we couldn't get Dinah Ross, but I got one of the Supremes. And it was such a shit joke that the place just erupted. It was funny as anything. Daryl was a little bit put out. He tipped the pizza over me on the ground. But that's how confident I was. Like I was so relaxed with that character.
Oh, mate.
Agro could do just
When
about
you do
anything.
Vizard, was it Steve Vizard? Remember Agro did the
Yeah,
Vizard show?
see, there's another example of an opportunity. Channel 7 Brisbane had a studio at the Eka, and they would let people in to show how television was being made. And of course, they were using Agro and so forth. And I was sitting when they broke for lunch because of the television rules and everything. You had to break for lunch.
Yeah.
I'm sitting backstage, and there's only me and this bloke in the dressing room. And I was bagging everyone I was working with, and he was saying how hard it was. He's trying to get a TV show up, and his idea was to use different sets, like the Family Feud set or the Wheel of Fortune set, and put comedians in that, and use those sets as part of the show. Well, that was Steve Vizard, and within I don't know, a few months, he was the biggest name in Australian television. And he rang me at home and said, because he used to do it every night, the Tonight Live with Steve Vizard. He rang me at Rocklea and he said, oh, can you do Fridays? I want to have Fridays off. And I thought it'd be funny if I have the puppet. And I said, I'm in. Of course, I go, yes, I'll do that. And I hadn't even seen it. I said yes to hosting it. And I remember flying to Melbourne and sitting in Marble Row and them going, oh, we'll do the top 7 here. I went, right, got that. And as we left the meeting, I said to the production assistant, what's the top 7? Didn't even know what I was doing, but I dressed
Mate,
Agro.
you would have had a good grip on Johnny Carson and Dave Letterman and all that stuff too. But you would have
not really. I didn't realise that Visor would just taken David Letterman's set and everything.
Yeah,
the whole Tonight Live was just David Letterman.
I think
I dressed
I've seen a lot of Agro, even down to being Agro's roadie quite often carrying the box around with you in the van.
Yeah.
But mate, I think those things on Visor were some of the best I've ever seen you do. That was so good.
Oh, well, and he was so generous. Like he said, you choose the guests that you're going to use on a Friday night. And the first guest I chose was Fat Cat and Patsy Bisco. And I had the set guys make up a 9-foot by 9-foot kitty litter tray.
Yeah.
And we wheeled it on, and Fat Cat comes on, he's bobbing up and down, he doesn't speak. So how am I going to interview him? Anyway, Agro goes, go on the paper. And I made this cat get up on this kitty litter tray and pretend to have a crap. And I was thinking to myself, imagine if I was Japanese and I arrived in Melbourne and I turned the TV on
And you saw that.
and I see this 9-foot cat pretending to have a crap in a kitty litter tray.
But I think the Agro and Fat Cat sort of controversy became a bit of a thing for a while there, because Agro was nice and mean to Fat Cat, and it became a bit of an Aussie story.
It's interesting because, it started to work, and so we got offered Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, and they chose Agro and Fat Cat because Agro could speak and Fat Cat could spin.
Right.
So he could spin the wheel.
Yeah.
And the guy inside the Fat Cat suit, so we're looking at the thing, and I can remember the phrase. Remember Adriana used to turn the lights. The phrase was to rise to the occasion. So I had a couple of T's and an O and a bit of it, and I'm lying there looking at the monitor under the desk. I couldn't get it. I was just staring at it. I couldn't figure out what it was. But the guy inside the cat suit, he's looking through the gauze where the mouth is, waiting for a close-up of Agro so he can tell. He knows what it is.
Yeah.
But he can't speak. So he's looking through the gauze till they take a close-up of Agro. They did. And you hear from deep inside the cat suit, rise to the occasion. And Agro's gone, spun around and gone, you talk. and the cat's bobbing up and down. Oh, shit. Funny,
was it the same guy that did the cat all the time?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, he married Patsy Bisco.
Oh, really?
Yeah, see, these are the secrets you get in this podcast, mate.
That's it, mate. That's we're getting right in the dirt now.
So, because of the success of Wheel of Fortune with Fat Cat and Agro, all of a sudden we're booked for Family Feud with Fat Cat and Agro, and it's only a suit, right? The Fat Cat. So, but they flew the guy from Adelaide, where he used to live, with Patsy. So at the airport, he was in the Golden Wing Lounge, free grog. Goes to Sydney, free grog. Sydney, Brisbane, free grog.
Yeah, this is going.
Limo picks him up at the airport, free grog, a bar in the limo. Yeah. Gets to Channel 7. The show we were doing, they do 5 shows in one night. The show we were on was the 5th show. So he was in the green room, free grog.
Free grog.
So by the time he got out to do the Family Feud episode, the Friday, he comes out, and of course the set is set about 6 or 8 inches off the ground. He comes out, gets his foot caught, trips, falls over, hangs onto his head, bounces on the set. Everyone's laughing and clapping, but the guy inside the suit's pissed. he's there leaning like this, waiting to press the buzzer.
And then, because we'd be doing, like before the Saturday morning jukebox, you'd have the show on with Jill and Agro, for example, and we'd go up, we'd be there.
Yeah. There was the Super Saturday show from 6 till 9.
That's it.
And then from 9 till 12, I think it was 12. How long?
Cartoon Connection.
Was. But anyway, we had, and I was putting live bands on with that triple play and stuff.
Yep.
No, it was good for the local artists because it get a little outlet for you, You
did heaps for that, mate. But often when you'd be filming stuff with Jill, when you go to commercial or something, the stuff you'd carry on with between the commercial breaks was just the funniest stuff ever. It was like, I know that's what a lot of those offcuts are, but when you were seeing them live,
a lot of those offcuts are exactly that. And
her and Anne-Marie with the animals and stuff like that is like hilarious.
I know. I get emails from there's a guy in Norway. There is a guy in Norway that sends me emails. He's named all his horses Slim Dusty, Chad Morgan. This guy in Norway looks after his horses. They're all named after Australian country stars.
Wow.
And he connects with me about the AGRO stuff. And there's a guy in Texas that sends me messages about, oh, I saw one of the latest ones you did today. It's something old that someone's found. A lot of them, I don't even know where they're getting them from.
Yeah.
Someone somewhere's put them up.
But mate, no, you got to be proud of what you did with that character, mate. It's just so good. But mate, you went from AGRO then pretty much live TV started wrapping up. Must have been really mid-90s, was it? Late 90s?
Yeah.
And then you moved into radio, pretty much. You were the big breaky guy around the state.
Well, someone rang, can you do a breakfast radio show? And the key is, like I keep saying,
yes.
As soon as I get to the end of that sentence, you say the word yes. Don't even think about it. Say, yeah, I can do that, and then get home and go, oh, shit, how do I do a radio show? Yeah. So, and I remember him talking about when that was 4BK was shifting to B105.
Yeah.
So the old AM license was going to go FM.
Yeah.
And anyway, they're talking to me and they said, we're going to give you incentives. And I went, incentive? What's an incentive? And they said, well, we're on 7% now, and it's definitely going to go up 2 points when we cross. We'll give you $2,000 a point when it goes up. And I said, well, if it's definitely going to go up, why don't you give me $4,000 in my contract now? And they weren't keen to do that. But anyway, that's part of the band cunning you get, like when you're just talking to someone. So anyway,
you became a master then going from one station. Yeah.
4BK started on 7%. The very first survey, it went to 29.
Bloody hell.
So I made something like, I don't know, $44,000 in incentives. And I remember going back in and going, I like incentives.
But mate, then you were a master going from one channel to another channel and kind of
I got
teaching them how it was all done.
Once you start to rate, then they'll want you. But if you don't rate, and it's called Jamie Dunn in the Morning Crew, the first person in the car park with a foot up his bum is Jamie Dunn.
Yeah.
So I got offered.
You were on top for a long time.
Yeah, but I didn't try to be on top. It just was natural. It was on the cusp of when radio used to be like, well, the chance of a late storm, 33 degrees this afternoon. And speaking of storm, here's Rain by Dragon. That was that sort of shtick. Yeah. And when I came on, it was more like we're talking now.
Yeah.
And people kind of got into the fact that you weren't like a radio voice.
Yeah.
They used to say you got to smile when you talk if you're doing radio.
Yeah.
And that was on that cusp where it became real. And we did AGRO to the rescue. And I remember because they wanted to use AGRO, but they were a bit nervous. So we worked out that we would do AGRO to the rescue. So we could use the character. And there was this lovely old lady in Ipswich, had nothing in the fridge. And so AGRO rings Woolies up there, and we do a phone call, and they agree to give her a year's worth of groceries. And so then I ring her and say, across the road is Woolies. Go and speak to Jack Smith at Woolies. They're going to give you groceries for a year. You go there every week, and your fridge will be full. Wow. And she cried, and you just couldn't help but cry with her because she was doing it tough. And it just worked a treat that AGRO's celebrity made the Woolies type people come on board to help someone that was struggling. And that segment just went right off. And that's when Triple M was a separate company to B105. And so I got offered to go over there to try and of course I said yes. I said you'll need to get some lawyers to, because they'll sue me for sure. And they said no, we'll cover you against any lawsuit. And then I went back to B105 and I said, how much can I make? What's the best I can do here? And they quoted me a price which was $100,000 cheaper than Triple M had offered me.
Right.
And so I knew I was going where the money was.
Yeah.
Because you have to in our business.
Of course.
Like, we're mercenaries. You're not.
Of course, mate.
You're not relations. You're not friends. No. You're not. You kind of are, but.
And you're making them a lot of money.
If you want to make money and have enough for next week, you got to do deals. That's it. So anyway, I got Triple M to give me immunity against being sued by B105, and then B105 wanted me. They offered me more money to stay. So then I got them to give me immunity against Triple M suing me. And then I stood back and went, oh, look what I've done. It was a mess. I don't have the best reputation in town.
Everyone was confused. They were like, how the hell is he doing all that? How does he like do that?
Keep the balls in the air. Keep the balls in the air, Nick.
It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Because, mate, when someone on our side wins, you might reckon it hurts your reputation, but mate, when someone on our side wins, it's like you go, yeah, well done. It's good.
Yeah. Well, I heard Keith Urban, to speak about him again, talking now. Well, he's an international star now, but he was talking about one of the Thursday nights he did at the Normby, and how he sat in for, who's his mate around
Tuffy?
town?
Tuffy,
yeah, Tuffy. Yeah.
I've been doing the Joe with Tuffy, so we've been having fun reliving those old times.
Yeah, well, he sat in for Tuffy, and he's playing at the Normby. It's Keith Urban. He always played well, and some half drunk guy comes up and going, "This is shit." So,
mate, we used to, because Keith worked with Rusty and the Ez Rockettes, and that was and him and Rusty and Alan Cameron was the other guitarist, and Keith always. Rusty had that big American personality and he was the front guy, but Keith always was a great guitarist and Alan Cameron was a great guitarist. And they do these things where one of them would get down to the sound desk and they'd be sort of doing a guitar duel between each other and these stuff. And there's a lot of the stuff you see Keith doing his concerts now actually came from the Rusty days. They sort of, he's taken them to an arena and taken the pub vibe into that. And obviously he's done brilliant now. And Tuffy keeps in contact with him, but yeah.
Yeah, I know when Keith Urban came and toured here one time, he got Tuffy up.
Yep.
During the show.
Yep.
So I guess, if you're in the business of trying to be a musician or make money out of this business and keep going, that's the key, is to make enough money to make the house payment or, the car payment or, it's a killer.
But mate, it's two things. Having the guts to follow through with opportunities like you talk about, that was always a big thing with you. And then the other thing is just the right, putting yourself in a position where you are there at the right time and the right place where things happen. And that happens to a very small number of people. The rest of the industry is made up of people who didn't get that chance.
If you treat everything as an opportunity, and as silly as that sounds, everything, you chase it down to the nth degree and see if you can get some life into it.
Yeah,
something will happen. And I have that problem. My wife is not from within the entertainment industry. She goes, "Why are you ringing him back?" And I ring everyone back.
Yep.
And she was talking like that, and the phone rang one time. I was getting no work whatsoever. AGRO has, it was spent. AGRO was in the bag. I was getting nothing. I got a phone call on a Monday. We're interested in doing a Uber Eats ad. Yes. You can do an Uber Eats ad this week? Yes, I can do an Uber Eats ad this week. they flew me to Sydney on the Wednesday, my wife and I, to Sydney on the Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
We went out and bought some clothes for AGRO to do this Uber Eats ad with Dr. Chris Brown, who was great. We went to Myer, and my wife bought some 00 T-shirts and stuff, and the lady behind the counter said, "When's it due?" She's going, no, it's for puppets. But so on the Friday, we did the Uber Eats ads, and it was shot at a place called Tramways, where they used to make the trams for Sydney. And it was just massive. You did television, then you did green screen, then you did in-house videos. You did, they soundproofed a hallway to do the radio, all in one day, just keep going. And my wife, Marie, was with me when I'm doing the radio commercials for them. And the producer, she was just down the end, and the producer said, "Can you open that door and ask him to be quiet next door while we record these?" So she had to open the door and say to Dr. Chris Brown, "Can you keep it down a little bit?" And man, that was Monday they called. Wednesday we went to Sydney. Friday we recorded. The following Monday, the entire money was in my account.
Yeah.
And yet the Sunday before, I was broke, had nothing.
Yep.
Didn't have anything in the book.
Yeah.
Got nothing. Thinking, well,
Yeah. Mate, I don't know if you remember, but the only TV ad I ever got to do was for Paul's Ice Cream. It was a thing called Snowball. It was back in the days when I had like the whole big mullet hair and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, your mullet. Now that was a classic. Your mullet was a classic.
It was a great one. I showed it to my kids recently. It's actually up on YouTube somewhere, and they had a great laugh at it. This whole "I've been snowballed, hit me." That was my. Obviously did so well. I never got another commercial, but anyway, that's
it happens like that.
I think it probably was like my performances on Wombat. You'd get a call from Jamie, and he'd say, "Oh, we've got this skit we need someone for to play a hippie on Wombat." And I had the worst acting skills in the world. It was terrible. But
I know, but once you do one,
it's fun.
It's slowly the square wheel becomes a little bit rounder, and it eventually gets some speed up if you do enough.
Well, we even got my dog on TV. Remember that?
Yeah. He was Nicky, wasn't he?
Nicky Dog, yeah. That was because that. People don't know my name by birth as Mark, and when I was working with Jamie, he was talking to some people in America, and they didn't want to put me as Mark Phillips because back then Captain Mark Phillips and Princess Anne were in the news all the time.
Yeah.
So you phoned up, and I remember you talking to my mum and saying you wanted to call me Nicky, and she thought it was hilarious because our dog was called Nicky, so I got named after her dog.
She didn't tell me that. She just said, "Oh, I'll tell him."
Oh yes, that got a lot of mileage out of the family, mate, for years. That one.
Nicky. Yeah, but Nick, you look at anyone overseas that's Australian, what you've been through and what I've been through, and what anyone in music in Australia has been through, or entertainment in Australia has been through.
Yep.
In America, I reckon the bands, they break up if what do you mean the van's got to go for another hour out of town? No, I'm not doing that. I'm out.
Yep.
Like Australians have worked so hard to get even the little bit ahead.
Yep.
That they just do it. In
America, I had people say to me numerous times, not just about myself, but other artists, if they were born in the States and they sort of spent that time there, they would have been much bigger stars naturally, just because of the work ethic we did put into it and what we did go through to make it all happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Even down to the road crew you'd work with here, the guys on the roadies that we'd work with when we were doing touring band stuff, they were just some of the best in the world because you don't get tougher conditions.
Well, I remember doing Lismore or Northern New South Wales with Billy Thorpe.
Yep.
And when I was the drummer, and his roadie came in and he's putting the 4X long neck bottles.
Yep.
He put one there, one over there, and I said, "What you doing?" He said, "I need them for the fight later on."
We had so many times like that. I remember one time being on stage and there's feedback going on and everything. I look around and the foldback guy was in some fight with some guy and end up Rennie, what he was most concerned about was he'd had a crunchie in his back pocket, and at the end of it, he'd squashed his crunchie, and that was the main thing that concerned him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of good to be Australian, I think,
It is, mate. And
I
also
see, that's
too,
what I'm saying. I've got the same problem. If the phone rang now, I'd put you on hold and
yeah,
take
do
the
it.
call
Yeah.
and see what they wanted and track it down. And
Yeah.
my wife says to me, what are you doing? You're 76. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I can't get it out of me. It's like I've got a brass pole that I slide down. If
Yeah.
there's
I'm the
might be a
same.
job.
Yeah, I'm the same. Mate, I could never have worked a day turning up for a company that, I was working for somebody, just for all power to people who work in retail or whatever. I could never do that. But the fact that even though I've had moderate success locally, but not like the big success. But the thing is, every day you wake up trying to figure out what to do next. What's the next challenge? What's the next evolution you're going to do? What's the next thing you can chase down? And what's your next creative thing? And I
Yeah,
really do love that challenge about it all, as hard as it gets.
yeah. It's unique out here, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, buddy, thank you very much for doing this chat. As I wanted to record your story for a long time, and we've had
Well, I'm a
known each
bit
other for so
embarrassed you
long.
still got the mullet, mate.
Just kind of half there. Mate, people
No,
don't realise
absolute pleasure.
your early days before the hair went, mate. You were like Australia's Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Strangely enough, some of those photos make you cringe.
that was the crackers.
What was I thinking? I
Yeah,
tried everything. Probably the same as you. We all try everything.
it was smooth, mate. And I learned so much from my time doing stuff with you, mate, and watching what you do through the industry. So thank you for that. And I think the advice you were giving people who do, know this is a small little thing I'm doing, but people will see it. And the advice of tracking everything down and not stopping, just making sure it all works, is probably the best advice anyone could get.
Yeah, well, here it is. Use everyone, step on them, and climb.
The wise words from the man on the top of the
Yeah,
mountain.
I have spoken.
Hey, mate, thank you
See
very
you,
much for
mate.
your
Thank
time,
you very
Tony.
much.
Okay, buddy.
See you, mate.